Welcome to the Be Fit podcast. I am Jo Conroy, mum, coach and founder of Be Fit. This podcast is about helping women to eat, move and live in a way that builds strength, energy and confidence at every stage of life. Join me each month for real conversations, tips and inspiration to help you feel strong, confident and completely yourself again. Hello and welcome to my fourth podcast, and I am inviting in today Nic, and she is a mental health counsellor. So we are going to be talking today about it's more than just getting motivated or move more and eat less. Because as a fitness coach, I get so many people come to me, and one of the biggest barriers is motivation. So many people say to me, I'm not motivated yet, I'll come when I'm motivated. So that's kind of the first topic today that I want to talk to you about is, do we need motivation to show up?
No, is the answer. It's scientifically proven that when you do less, you do even less. So you've got to do tiny little changes, like come to one gym session one week, like one tiny little changes, and it makes a massive difference eventually.
Yeah, because I get so many people, especially we just had that New Year craze, haven't we?
Yeah.
Of everybody goes all out, right, I'm going to do 5 sessions a week, I'm going to go running, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to cut my calories down to 2,000 calories a day. And they take on this massive overload of stuff. And we have week 3 into January is like the biggest drop off in the fitness industry that you'll see all year. And I always hang out and let that happen and then try and scoop people up and do exactly that, work in those bite-sized pieces, just introducing whether it be your fitness, whether it be looking at your nutrition, whether it be little small lifestyle changes. What would you recommend if somebody's really, really stuck and they know that they need to move more, they know that they need to change their diet, but they just are stuck?
Don't do it all at once.
Yeah.
So as you were talking, I was thinking of the mountain analogy of like trying to climb a mountain before you can even walk. Just take tiny bits at a time. So one thing at a time. What's going to be easier for you? Is it going to be easier to do small changes in your diet, or is it going to be doing smaller workouts or whatever it is?
Yeah.
To start with, whether it's you've never done fitness before and it means going for a walk, or just tiny changes.
Yeah.
And growing from there.
Just picking something.
Yeah.
Sometimes say to you, pick the one that's hardest, but if you're really stuck, actually pick the one that feels easier. Because once we start to reward the brain and put those rewards in, it starts a flurry, doesn't it, in the brain of actually this feels really good. Now what can I do? And it kind of, like you say, you can build up, and suddenly those bigger changes don't seem so big, and you've layered them on, and suddenly you're eating a little bit better, moving a little bit more, and making those changes that you need. So so I will cut that. Choking on my hot cross bun. So we've talked a little bit about how we can start to make changes when we feel unmotivated or stuck. The other thing that really comes to me, excuse me, is I see lots on social media and lots of other coaches pushing, all you need to do is move more and eat less. Now, I've worked with hundreds of women over the years. Excuse me. And if it was that simple, wouldn't it be amazing?
Yeah, definitely.
We wouldn't have an obesity epidemic. We wouldn't have people stuck on yo-yo diets, feeling guilty about food, dieting, then gorging, then dieting, then falling off the wagon. I'd like you to just maybe talk through some of the reasons why people might not be able to find this as easy as some coaches may imply that it is.
Yeah. I mean, food is so embedded in us. It's used as treats. It's also used, from a young age, we're embedded this food. We've got to eat this, so if it's healthy, we've got to eat that. You can't eat that, or whatever it is. And a lot of people do use food for for comfort.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to get rid of that. There's normally a lot deeper reason for using food as comfort. But yeah, there's other things that we can do if you don't want to look at that. There's other things you can do, choosing healthier options instead, which sounds easier than it is.
Yeah, and I think that's what I work with my clients quite a lot is, let's not talk about what we are going to take out of your diet.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about what we're going to put in.
Mm-hmm.
Swap, replace.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not creating that immediate, as soon as you take something away, doesn't matter what it is. If you said to me, right, I'm going to take that pen away from you, suddenly in my brain, this pen would be like the best pen. I'd want it, because you would be telling me that I can't have it and I'm not allowed to use it.
It's the only thing you can think of.
Yeah. And that's what happens, isn't it? We're told to restrict calories, carbs, I don't know, whatever the latest fad is. I've seen so many of them. I've been a coach for over 17 years now, and I think I've seen every diet going. I think I've seen people live every diet going, and they focus on restriction somehow, don't they? And I think we need to move away from that mindset, because it puts our brain in almost in that fight or flight defense system, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, our body isn't a machine. We've got emotions, and emotions are hormones, and those hormones have an effect on our body, not just emotionally, but physically as well.
Yeah.
And I know that we talked briefly when you came in about the types of food that we're eating as well. And we're all told that high calorie, high sugar, it's going to make you put on weight. It's not going to help you, but you were just talking about how it affects you sort of mentally as well. So if you could just sort of talk through that a little bit.
Yeah. So again, it's proven that the more sugar we intake, from saturated sugars, fats, that sort of thing, processed food mostly, it really affects our mental health. It can make us feel really anxious and make us depressed. Food is it sends our hormones imbalance completely off. Because our mind and our body aren't separate, are they? No,
they work. There is a theory that what we do in our gut affects our brain, and it's I see that. I'm a holistic coach as well. I'm trained in acupuncture and tweener, and we look at the body very, very holistically. Mind, the body, the internal organs, what we eat, the environment that we live in. All of this is really important. I bring this into my coaching, and I think that's why I call myself a holistic coach, because I don't just look at fitness. I look at lifestyle, nutrition. If we sit in all day in a dark room, working at home on our laptop, and we don't go out, that's not good for us either. We need to be out in the sunlight, getting some vitamin D, but just being out in the fresh air. And I think all of these things play a really important role, don't they, in making sustainable changes.
Yeah, definitely.
So, for me, when I talk about movement and making changes, it's not just about your physical appearance.
No.
I mean, Nic's also one of my clients. You've been training with me. How many years have you been training with me now?
At least 4, if not nearly 5.
4 or 5 years, isn't it? And I think you know me as a coach that I'm not about aesthetics, and that is always an upside of exercise. But for me, it's much more about moving for mental health.
Yes.
Eating to feel better. If we feel better and in control of our lifestyle, I think, I don't know if you see this with people, that, if we're making positive changes with the way that we live, that affects how we perceive the outside world as well.
I'm a massive advocate for fitness, and I love your classes because they're outside. That's the main reason I come to them, because they're outside. And any sort of fitness you do, whether it's walking, swimming, whatever you want to do. I'm not a team player. I can never play in a sports. That's another reason why I like them, because I just can come, chuck around the weight and leave again. That's what I love. I'm a big advocate for sport, movement. Movement for mental health. Definitely.
100%. Obviously I've got my style that I teach within my community. That's quite a broad range. We do boxercise, we do strength, we do Pilates, we do yoga, because I like to provide that full circle of training in different styles for not only different people, but for how we feel within our, especially for women in our menstrual cycle, but just our energy levels.
Yeah.
Consistency, I think, is key. If you go on this kind of like, I'm going to work out really hard for a week, and then you don't do something for 3 weeks, not only do you not get the improvements in your physical fitness that you want, I think mentally you're putting yourself in that fitness yo-yo, like the diet yo-yo goes. So what I provide is something that can keep you consistent. Okay, I'm not feeling great this week. I'll go and do a lower intensity, or I'm feeling overwhelmed. I don't want to go and work really hard. But I think there's so many different ways to move. I provide what I do for people to bring them into a structured, supportive environment. But there's so many ways you can do that. Like you say, I'm very into my sport, not team sports, I like a solo sport. Same. But there's so many different ways to move. And although I advocate what I do, if people don't want to do what they do with me, I always advocate, do you like riding a bike? Do you like going out for a run? Have you tried netball? Do you like swimming? And I've referred and pushed people into those other areas, because for me, motivating women to move, whether it be with me or with somebody else, is key.
Yes, definitely.
So yeah. Well, hopefully that's been really useful. I think we've gone through some strategies, but also an understanding of why it's not always as simple as the fitness gurus on Instagram and Facebook may make things look. All you need to do is, this is the one exercise, and it isn't making a long-term change to your health and well-being, especially in midlife. I think in your 20s and 30s it's easier. We've got more energy, we've got more time for ourselves, and our life is more focused around us. As you get older and you've got families, whether that be children or caring for elderly or other family members, or just friends, we get spread a lot thinner, don't we?
Yeah, definitely.
And it gets harder to prioritize you, but hopefully you've got some strategies from this today that's going to help you do that, but also help you understand why you might be finding it difficult, so that you don't beat yourself up about finding it difficult. But just start with something little. Just go for a walk today, do some squats while you're making a cup of tea. Maybe swap out a chocolate bar for a piece of fruit. Just something small.
And if you can't achieve that, don't beat yourself up about it. Just carry on for the rest of the day as you were. And try again. And I think once you start to succeed, like you say, it just puts you on a little train to try again. Try something new, try something different. But well, thank you for coming today. I hope you found that interesting, and thank you for coming to talk to me. I think it's always great to get specialists in their field in, because I'm not a specialist in every field. I've got a broad understanding of lots of different areas, and I love to bring in specialists to talk about their field and share their experience with you. So thank you today. Thank you.
Thank you for listening today, and if you'd like to find out how you can work with me, please check out my website, b-fitfitness.co.uk.